All right. Welcome to Coffee with a Purpose, April 28th. I hope everybody enjoyed Patriots Day and the marathon yesterday. Last Monday. But here we are again, and we've got with us Angela Snell, who is the director of the Community Services Division, right?
Department.
Or department?
Yep.
Okay. Department, except that they have control over
We have
lots of
5
other
departments,
departments
yes.
under them. So we're super happy to have you with us in particular. Really appreciate you coming on today of all days. If folks are on the email distribution list for the 101 information sessions that the town does, you might know that there's one at 12:30 today with Angela Snell on Community Services. So we feel honored to kind of get the advanced copy. But I think this session, as we all know, lots of relaxed discussion, and a bit more of informal than perhaps what you're doing later today. So I know you're getting some assistance in getting connected there. Yeah, okay, cool. So what we usually do, Angela, is we start the session with us introducing ourselves to you just briefly, so you get a sense of who's in the room, who's online, what kind of experiences we have in town. And then we can turn it over to you. So let's start with you, Bill.
Okay, hi, I'm Bill Ramage. My main activities are working volunteering for their church. I'm a trail steward at Pig and Co.
Great.
And I'm currently the chair of the Community Preservation Committee. So that's my current activities.
Okay.
Hi, Gary Schillman, longtime resident of Natick, I'm in Natick Rotary, and trying to do a few more things around town as well.
Thanks, Gary.
Hi, I'm Cindy Bates, 5-year resident of Natick. I'm a trail steward on the CWAP Trail, and I pick up for Keep Natick Beautiful at Coolidge Field, and I sing in Sound and Spirit. Great.
Rick
Devereaux, just 7-year native, 7-year resident of Natick. Part of Eco Natick and organizing Earth Day activities every year, and do a little bit of Keep Natick Beautiful, and in and out of that for one reason or another, but in the area of Dun Pond. Anyway, look forward to hearing you.
Hi, Angela. I'm Kathleen Donovan. I'm 35-year resident of Natick. I've been on the library board of trustees for many years, so I work with Director McDowell, who you know.
Yep.
And like many people here, I also volunteer with Keep Natick Beautiful.
Great. I love it.
And online, we've got Elaine. Want to say hi?
Relatively new to Natick, but long international advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities. 3 children, 3 grandchildren, blah, blah, blah. I'm going for 100.
Good for you. Janji?
Yes, Jean Gimona. I'm 27 years resident of Natick. I'm still looking for, what could be my place in this community, volunteering different activities. I'm part of the Lutheran Church, as we met with Sarah yesterday on this interfaith discussion. I'm also singing in different choirs, and I would love to participate more and more in the community. And I'm planning to attend to the today one-on-one discussion. And I thought this is a great time for warm-up and to introduce to the today session for the introduction.
That's good. Yeah, you have 4 hours to write down all the questions. Great. Brian, good to see you.
Brian McPherson. I've 33 years here, a Butt Lake Cochituate environmentalist, do a lot of work with Pat cleaning up trash. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Brian. Sarah?
Hi, Doug and I have been here, I think 42, 43 years, something like that. I'm a retired geologist working, I've worked my whole life in environmental stuff, so that's an interest. currently sitting with Bill on the Community Preservation Committee, town meeting member, assorted stuff around town. To hear what you have to
Thanks,
say.
Tom,
Hi there, I'm Tom Daly. I'm 35-year resident of Natick, member of Sprott Kindness, and welcome.
thanks, Tom. Carol?
Hi, good morning. I'm Carol Berkowitz. I have lived in Natick over 50 years, and during that time, I've been a town meeting member. I've been on a committee to help preserve Lake Cochituate and generally love the town. Thank you. Good morning.
Thanks, Carol. Carrie?
Hi, good morning. Geez, I feel like a newcomer. I've only been here 22 years. Like many others here, part of keeping it beautiful and treasure for the group. Rotarian, probably. And I have to say thank you. I'm going to be staging a 6th Repair Cafe, thanks to the Council on Aging, this coming Sunday. So it's a great space at the community center, perfect place to have this event. We've got about 17, 18 people to fix different things, all for free. So looking forward to it. Thank you for your involvement in helping us come together.
Thanks, Carrie. Sally?
Good morning. I'm Sally Hopkins, and I'm here about 8 years, but my brother is Pat Conaway, and I had to come and move here and be part of all this keeping Natick beautiful. I had no choice, but it's a joy. So I really love these Coffee with a Purpose, and I'm looking forward to your sharing this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. And Brinley?
Good morning. Guess I'm also a newbie here, only 25 years. Still have one kid at the high school, one kid in college who went through the school system. I'm also an environmentalist and work a lot towards that in town. I was on the recycling committee way back when there was one. I'm a town meeting member, all that stuff. I'm really glad you're here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Brinley. And I think that's everybody. And I'm Doug. I moderate the group. Sarah and I are longtime members over at First Congregational. That's where I do most of my volunteer work. Looks like you got one more person coming in, or maybe they're just for this facility. Huh? Judy. Hey, Judy.
The interruption.
No, actually, you're just in time to introduce yourself. We just finished.
Yeah. Judy Dixon. I'm the housing equity advocate at Family Promise Metro West. I've worked for the schools. I have worked for the rec department. I have run family support programs. I'm associated with First Congregational Church, Spark Kindness, and Path for Adaptive Opportunities, our beloved charities that I have run the marathon for and continue to be involved in.
She also talks fast, yeah. All right, and I see Jay also just joined us. I'm sure Jay and Angela know each other, but Jay, you want to say good morning or?
Hi guys, good morning. I've got Angela on the hook later this afternoon, so I thought I'd listen to her present her department this morning. I'm the town communications director. Nice to see everyone.
All right, I'm going to reserve the right to kick you out of the meeting if it gets too difficult. Okay. But yeah, we actually really appreciate Angela giving us kind of the advanced version, perhaps, of a lot of the stuff that she'll be sharing later today. A busy day for you, Angela. So
how do I share my screen?
I don't know that. So
I'm on the Wi-Fi.
You're on the Wi-Fi, but you aren't connected to the Zoom meeting yet. So the most recent email that I sent you has a link to the Zoom.
I missed that part, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Give me a minute.
Yeah. Not an issue. So yeah. How many, while Angela's getting connected, how many people got a chance to watch the marathon on Monday?
I didn't.
Very good, yeah.
Can't miss it. That's right by my house.
And inspired, Family Promise Metro West is having its walk to end homelessness this Sunday. I know there's lots of activities around Earth Day too. So you can walk with an Earth Day theme, you can walk with a social justice theme, or you could just say, this is the first 2.3 miles of your marathon training. So come on down to the high school on Sunday.
Yeah. Did you run it this year?
I did not run it this
Yeah.
year, but I have signed up for a half for November
Oh,
because you
boy.
can't watch the marathon and then not start like
Yeah,
documenting your miles.
that's true. Oh, there you are. I just have to let you in. That would be helpful.
I don't know, Judy, hasn't inspired me to run 26 miles yet.
Come on.
I thought we were gonna have, we joined around Forest Street to watch and then walked east to the church here and back, and we went past so many like drummers and bands and so forth. I thought they would compete with each other, but they didn't, so.
I've walked that same walk down the forest and back.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It's gorgeous on their,
cool,
on their porch and everywhere.
Porch Fest meets the marathon.
What's that?
Porch Fest meets the marathon.
Yeah. All right. So Angela has shared her screen, and again, I apologize that I can't make the image completely fill Paul's wonderful big screen here. It's the problem with my display adapter, and I'm too cheap to buy a new one.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah.
Right.
That's clear and big.
Yeah, it's reasonably big, thanks to Paul. So take it away.
Okay. So thank you for having me. I'm Angela Snell. I'm the Director of Community Services. This is kind of my Natick 101 presentation, but it's have a few things specific for this group that won't be at Natick 101. I do want to have a disclaimer that the slides that you're about to see, I had help from all of my department heads, the people that lead all the different divisions helped put information on the slide, so I appreciate their support in this effort. So community services, we're going to talk about what we offer around the town. This is just a quick snapshot of Spooktacular on the Common, the Natick Community Organic Farm, our lifeguards, and that was a New Year's Eve celebration at the Community Senior Center this year. So what I'm going to talk about is the 5 divisions that we have: Sassamon Trace Golf Course, Recreation and Parks, Council on Aging and Human Services, the Natick Community Organic Farm, and then Veterans Services. And then questions and answers at the end, if that's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I forgot to
Yeah,
mention that
okay.
logistic, however you would like to handle
Yeah.
it. Just let you
Okay.
get through it and then, yeah.
So who is Angela Snell?
Yeah.
Here I am at mile 10, working in Natick. I love it. I love being on the marathon route. So my office is at the Community Senior Center. I started in July. In my past experience, previous roles, my primary focus has been Parks and Recreation. I did a couple years for the town of Clinton as the assistant town administrator. I was the first one. And then I worked many years for the town of Shrewsbury. I was the director of Parks and Recreation, which also included cemetery. I did a couple years as director of public facilities, so we oversaw the school buildings and the town buildings and also Parks and Recreation. And then years ago, I worked for the town of Northborough. That's where I got my love of Parks and Recreation and working for communities. I was the director of Recreation and Park Services. So community services, I already mentioned the divisions that we're made up of, but we seek to improve the quality of life for our residents by designing and offering a wide range of educational, recreational, cultural, health and fitness related opportunities for every resident of every age. So we have things from outside to inside. Hopefully there's something for everyone in town. So this is our just kind of an abbreviated org structure. So I'm the director. I oversee the 5 departments. Recreation and Parks has a director of Recreation and Parks. Council on Aging as a director of Council on Aging. The Sassamon Trace Golf Course has a golf course manager. Natick Community Organic Farm has the executive director. They also work with a nonprofit board of directors. And then Veterans Services, the Veterans Services Director. And then myself and one other staff, we are in a separate budget of the town where the community services, what's called the administration budget, and we work across all of the divisions, departments. So overall, there's like 29 full-time staff. We have 37 part-time staff, and then many like seasonal part-time staff. Probably about 45 during the school year, and it goes all the way up to about 175 during the summer with lifeguards, camp counselors, building monitors. There's part-time staff on the farm. The golf course has starters, rangers, golf course attendants. So there's a wide variety of part-time and full-time staff within the department. First, I'll just give a quick overview of the Sassamon Trace Golf Course. These are pictures from the golf course. Beautiful golf course if you haven't been out there. So Sassamon Trace is a 9-hole executive length golf course. Over 45,000 rounds of golf were played in 2024, which is a good number for last year because they hardly had any rain out. So it was a great year for the golf course. They sold 225 season ticket holders in 2024. 92 were adults, 91 were seniors, and 42 were juniors. So I love those two numbers, the seniors and juniors playing golf. And the average season ticket holder plays 40 rounds per year. They offer 5 recreational golf leagues throughout the year. They offer adult and junior golf lessons. The golf course has an online tee booking system, and all of the maintenance is done in-house with the course superintendent kind of oversees all the maintenance of the golf course. So they have 4 full-time staff that work throughout the year, and then their part-time staff pretty much starts up as soon as the snow melts and goes all the way into December. They also work with a golf course oversight committee. It's a 5-member board appointed by the town administrator, and they review the policies and procedures for the golf course, working with the management and help develop revenue opportunities.
I know we're not supposed to ask questions.
Yeah,
What's an
that's-
executive round? What's an executive course?
It's like the length of the course.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Like
it's
not the
not like
number
a
of holes,
PGA,
it's the
right,
length of-
yeah. Good question. Next is recreation and parks. Everyone I'm sure is familiar with the Natick Days photo. And then the other photo is from their swim team that practices at Dug Pond in the summer, which I think is unique for Natick.
Wait, Recreation and Parks has a swim team?
Yeah.
Separate from like the scholastic teams?
Yes,
I
yep,
did
so
not know
there's
that.
one in the
Wow.
summer and then there's one in the winter. It used to be the one in the winter used to be its own organization, but just this year it fell under the Parks and Recreation Department.
My kids used to swim both,
Yeah.
but and it was great about Doug was when we hosted meets, we would talk, the kids would talk about eels in the water. There were no eels, but it would freak the other teams out. And we were like a smaller team, so it would help us a lot. They had a lot of places were hosting at pools, so they were already freaked out.
So where do they swim in the winter?
They swim at the Wayland pool, Wayland Pool.
Wayland
has
Town
one,
Pool.
yeah. And then the meets are at different pools in Metro West, yeah. We actually got a great compliment from one of the other towns this summer, this winter, about the Natick team being so helpful and cheering everyone on. It was really great to hear. So Recreation and Parks is responsible for planning, organizing, and implementing of recreational programs to serve residents of all ages and abilities. The division serves as stewards of community fields and parks. We work with town departments, nonprofit organizations, and businesses to help improve the fabric of our community. So just some highlights from last year. So they do programming for all ages, pre-K, youth, teen, adults, all age programs, which would be some of the special events, adaptive programs. Programs are offered 7 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year. The busiest is obviously in the summer. We have over 650 participants a week in the camps throughout the summer. And the other programs that we offer, like archery, there's some sports camps. The team ranges from 35 to 180 each year, with 180 being during the summer. Community engagement is all the special events that they host during the year. Last year, there were 21 special events. Natick Days had 125 vendors, 8,000 visitors. We focus on engaging all ages and abilities across all of our programs. And the programs are happen throughout the town. So a lot of them are at the Cole Center. There's some that'll be at the Natick Community Senior Center. They're at schools, they're at parks, inside, outside, something for everyone. And then there's stewards of the parks, playgrounds, and fields. There's over 40 fields and playgrounds in town. Last year, there were 4,700 participants that used our fields in 2024. So that's all the youth soccer, little league, lacrosse. So they use pretty much every athletic field in the summer. I'm sorry, throughout the year. And then Memorial Beach runs from June to August. There's swimming lessons, swim team, and then special events throughout the summer. They had movie on the beach. There was some yoga classes. So lots of different activities. And then the highlights of special events, the summer concert series, which is on the Common, summer movies on the Common, Natick Days, Spooktacular, holiday lighting, and the Santa Parade. Some of these are coordinated with the Center Associates. So we work with the local businesses to coordinate some of these events. So far this year, they've had a sweetheart dance, flashlight egg hunt, and then fun with the bunny. And it was a real bunny. So Council on Aging and Human Services, they operate out of the Natick Community Senior Center. This is just some pictures of some of the programs, the painting program, and then the weaving, which I think is pretty awesome to see people weaving. And then the middle one is our staff during the St. Patrick's Day luncheon.
Is that loom something that the town owns, or did that come in for
I
a special
believe,
event? Or something?
so we do have them. I believe one of the local, one of the private schools have them on loan with us.
Wow.
So we have like 6 of them.
Gee.
So Council on Aging and Human Services, most people know us for all of our programs, but we have a lot of things that we offer, so I'll just give some of the highlights. For the winter session from January to March, we had over 14,000 people come through the doors at the Community Senior Center to participate in programs. This does not include like if somebody just came in and sat in the lobby or went to the fitness room, so that's pretty impressive number, I think. The team offers 150 programs each quarter. They're wellness programs, educational, cultural, social, entertainment, drop-in exercise classes. There's drop-in activities like the billiards room, the poker, mahjong, Zumba, Tai Chi, and yoga. And then there's classes that you actually sign up for. It's like a 6 to 8 week class that you would sign up for. That's the art programs, specific programs that you would sign up for. Activities are also held on some evenings and Saturday mornings. We're starting to offer a multi-generational program. We do a monthly luncheon. We do the property tax work-off program, which I can talk a little bit more about that at the end this time. We have a small fitness center that's open to everyone. You can sign up for 6-month memberships. There's treadmills, stationary bikes, weights, and more. All members get a orientation so they know how to use all of the equipment and can feel comfortable going in and working on their own. We have lots of volunteer opportunities. Some are with the property tax work-off program, but we also help seniors with like raking their leaves. We'll get some high school volunteers, help out seniors with things like that. Some of the volunteers help with some of our special events at the center. So there's lots of opportunities for volunteering with us. The other thing we handle is transportation. It's the Natick Connector. It's with an agreement with the MWRTA. We do door-to-door medical appointments, grocery shopping, personal errands. And now those vans go to Natick, Sherborne, Wayland, and I guess Sherborne's on there twice. So just in the local area, you call the MWRTA and book an appointment like a day or two out, and then the van picks you up, drops you off, and picks you back up and brings you home. It's a great service.
Is there a fee for that, Angela? or-
Right now, it's actually free through the MWRTA. They've, the fares are free through July, I believe, yeah.
And that is not just for seniors, right?
It's for
anyone.
seniors and those with disabilities, yeah, of any age.
But not for qualified low-income households or yet, or at this time.
No, not, the MWRTA does do that through their programs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it, last question, does it take people out of these 3 towns to
Not-
medical appointments? or-
So because the Natick Connector does not, the COA has gotten a couple of grants to provide taxis for the medical appointments. So if you do have to go to Newton Wellesley or Boston, same thing, you can call us. I think you need at least a week's notice to schedule that appointment. And we have, we went out to bid. We have a contract with a local taxi company that will bring you to your appointment. So.
Do they then wait there or you get? a
No,
pickup or
so
something?
depending on the time, you schedule the return
Yeah.
visit as well. And the thing that I like too is that through our volunteer coordinator, so if you're having an appointment that you need someone, you have to have somebody take you home, we can find a volunteer for you and be your person, so they would meet you at the door, and they can also ride in the van, the taxi with you, so.
Like the colonoscopy thing.
Yes, when you can't drive home yourself, so just driving in the taxi does not count. So, yeah, things like that, and it's very helpful for people.
Does the vehicle handle disabled, like wheelchairs and things like that?
The Natick Connector does,
It
yep,
does?
yeah, they're
So,
both wheelchair
A
accessible.
disabled person who's not a senior could use it, or? just-
Yes, yep, yeah.
And they just call, do they have
Yep.
to go online and?
Yeah,
and,
first I think you have to qualify through the MWRTA, yeah. And then you just call to make the appointment.
So
or
it's
the-
easy for seniors?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And any of these things like if seniors have trouble, that's what we're here for. We would help walk them through how to do all this and how to sign up for things. A lot of that's handled with our human services team. So they run an information and referral line. So if you don't know, how do you use the Natick Connector? You can call them and they can connect you to the right people or get you set up. They handle assistance with complex applications for public benefits like fuel assistance, where you have to send in all your paperwork. They can help do that for you. They run a lot of support groups. They have started a memory cafe for residents with dementia and their family members. So they're doing that once a month. We're also working on being a dementia-friendly community, so working on training our staff on how to recognize someone with early stages of dementia and help them.
What is a memory cafe or?
So it's for people with dementia and their caretakers, so you don't really get to go out to eat anymore because it's kind of hard for people to do that. So we have a nice environment that people can come in. They'll have have a luncheon, and we have an entertainment, and they're with other families that are going through dementia.
Does this work out, human services work out of the community center or
Yep, they're part of the Council on Aging.
that's where they're housed?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So the Council on Aging has a director, there's two assistant directors, one is for human services and one runs the programs, and then they have, we have an outreach coordinator, we have the volunteer coordinator, on staff as well. We have durable medical equipment loans, so if you need a walker or, you know, things like that, somebody broke a leg, we can help you with that. Loan you some equipment. One of the biggest programs is the AARP tax preparation program, so that happened all winter on Mondays and Thursdays. AARP has volunteers that will come in and do taxes for the seniors and help them prepare that. And then the Shine appointments are helping people understand Medicare benefits. And there's great volunteers that work in that program, and you can make an appointment and they can help you with that.
I did that. Very
Oh,
good.
nice, that's a great program. So next is the Natick Community Organic Farm. If you haven't been, you need to go check it out, it's great. It's just great to see all the little kids like being in awe of the animals, and it's great.
Is that barn completed now?
Yeah,
The barn that
brand
got
new
rebuilt?
barn, it's beautiful. So it's a certified organic farm, they offer hands-on education, they have farm products, they are productive open space for all ages, year-round. Free admission, you can walk around, anytime, you just go on your own and you can walk up and see all the animals. They have a little farm stand that you can buy products from. They have fresh, organic, locally grown produce and flowers. They do a lot of annual events. They have Farm Fest is coming up in May. That's one of their big programs that's coming up. Animals, you know, they got the sheep, the lambs, the chickens, the bunnies. I made a note, 53 rabbits were born on the farm last year, which is a lot. Thought that was an interesting.
True what they say.
Yeah, right.
About that.
Come back next week, there's more rabbits.
Where you've worked for other towns as well, is it somewhat unique for a town to have a
Oh,
farm like
yes,
this?
I don't know of any town, really.
Alright.
Yeah, this is very
I know there's a
unique,
lot
and
of
I love
reasons to
it.
consider Natick special,
Yes.
but
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a great gem for the town of Natick. And they do a lot of special events. They, as you see them set up, they're at the farmer's market when it's outside, so they'll be there this weekend. They do a farm share program with the Council on Aging, so 50 farm shares. Our volunteer coordinator gets people to deliver the farm shares right to their house, so that's a great program. They do a pop-up farm stand in the lobby at the Community Senior Center, so seniors have access to get fresh produce throughout the summer. They also have a lot of volunteering program opportunities, so you can reach out to them. They do volunteering Tuesday through Thursday. And then just some of their statistics, you know, 210 CSAs were provided, 20,000 eggs were produced. 2,500 gallons of maple syrup, maple sap were collected, and 26,000 flowers. So.
And the kids program that runs out of there, is that part of community services as well?
Yeah, so
Right.
they run, no, it's through the farm, so they run some after-school programs. A lot of the kids are from Memorial School, so they can
Yeah.
walk right over. They also do, any of the schools can do tours with the students. I know they do a lot of Boy Scout, Girl Scout tours. And then they do summer programs as well, and you
And
sign
the
up.
forest
Marvelous
gnomes.
place.
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
the forest gnomes, which, is that what you're talking about, Rick? That's a young
Yeah.
child program that's like preschool, outdoor preschool.
Outdoor preschool, yeah,
Rain or shine, which is great. They wear their boots and,
yeah.
yeah. So that's all run through the farm and they have a great staff and they're another department that, you know, during the summer and during these programs, they'll have more part-time staff helping them with the programs. So again, programs for all ages, 1.5 through Suburban Farmer Series, which is for adults. Many years, school year and vacation programs are offered at the farm. In 2024, over 5,000 children went through their programs. They had 18 teen work crew members join them in the summer. And then 1,400 Natick Public School students joined for field trips, which I think is amazing. Actually, like before I even started working here, I went and checked out some of the properties and the farm was one of the ones I drove through and I saw the kids coming over from the school and they're all waving. They were so happy to go to the farm and it's a really a special place, so. Next is Veteran Services. So Veteran Services is responsible for the needs of veterans in Natick and their dependents. They assist in filing Veterans Benefits Program, which is a state-run program, or for filing for federal benefits such as through the VA, service-connected or non-service-connected if you had a disability. The office is located in the Natick Community Senior Center and veterans of all ages can get services through the veterans agent.
Can I mention one thing about that? No, not necessarily about that, but a lot of people don't know it, maybe people here do though. If they're a veteran, they can get like free, like home health care. For, I don't know, maybe 20 hours a week. So
Really?
a lot of veterans, apparently the military doesn't promote it much. So, because they don't want to spend the money, I suppose, but a lot of veterans, I've heard that a lot of veterans don't even know about it. So it doesn't cost them anything, it's a benefit they get through VA and just like your daily living type of aid.
Yeah.
People come to your house.
Do you have to qualify as disabled veteran for that
I
or?
don't believe so.
Yeah, interesting.
Check into that, make sure it's known.
Yeah.
So in 2024, Veteran Services helped over 700 veterans and their family members. The department helps organize community events such as the Memorial Day Parade, which is coming up in May, the Veterans Day Parade in November, and then cemetery grave decoration. They get flags for all the Natick cemeteries and lots of volunteers help put them on the graves of veterans at the cemetery. So some of them have already gone in and some of them will be going in within the next week or two. They partner with Natick Public Schools, Natick Soldier System Center, Morse Institute Library through the Veterans Oral History Project, and then local veterans groups on educational programs, special events. With the public schools, they do veterans come read in the classrooms for the first, I think it's first grade and kindergarten. So Veteran Services is recruiting volunteers to go to all the different schools. That takes place around Veterans Day. They worked with the fire union to do a veterans luncheon after the Veterans Day parade, which was well attended. Great program. And then many things with the Morse Institute Library. They did the Pearl Harbor Day. There was a program back in December they did with them. There's 70 veteran squares in Natick and 5 of them were recently installed in 2024. So veterans that served the town of Natick, the veterans agents, doing the history on any medals and what wars they served on, gets reviewed with the Veterans Council and then gets approved by the Board of Selectmen to have a new veteran square installed in town. And their big focus is assisting veterans with Chapter 115 benefits. So that's through the state and it's based on income. we are lucky in town that our VA agent he's an accredited service officer, so he can also help with federal claims, which are sometimes based on disability or, some of your service in the war, during wartime. So anyone can apply for these VA benefits, but because he's a VA accredited service officer, he can kind of see where it is in the system and where it's getting approved at the VA. So that's my highlights. I did just want to give a little bit more on the, just wanted to give a little bit more about the property tax write-off program, work-off program, because that's coming up. This is, our.
Is that the end of what you're sharing?
Yes.
Why don't you stop the
Okay.
screen share and then we can see
Okay.
the folks online a
Sure.
little bit more too.
Questions, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for letting us interrupt you with questions as we
Yeah.
went along too.
Okay.
It's so vast, you can't remember.
Yeah, I know, and
You go through this.
it's fine. I did want to just talk a little bit about the property tax work-off program. This is for Natick residents 60 and over, also veterans of any age. You have to own or occupy primary residence in Natick and pay property taxes and meet an income limits. And then you volunteer your time in municipal departments from June 1st through March 1st to receive a credit on your property tax bill. So our volunteer coordinator finds out what kind of things you could do. It could be answering phone calls. It could be checking people in at the community center. It could be helping update databases, photocopying, delivering farm shares, proofreading documents, stuffing envelopes, many different things. Some of the examples, like last year, they made calls to dog owners to make sure that they remembered to renew their dog license to avoid late fees. Selling the senior parking passes at the community center, they help do that. They monitor drama workshop participants during their preparation week, so they help out there. So a lot of different things. Great program,
and they can earn up to how much?
So this coming year, you get it's $15 per hour. It was $1,500, so it was 100 hours. It's been increased to 125 hours. Not everybody's able to work the full 100 or 125 hours, so they have a program where you can do a proxy, so somebody else that volunteers could then say, hey, I just volunteered 10 hours. It's documented, and those 10 hours will go to somebody else's credit and help out. Sometimes the people that help with the elections, they get a small stipend, but sometimes they choose not to do the small stipend and they donate their hours, which has been fantastic for helping some of the seniors get extra hours.
So they work, is it up to 125 hours, or you're supposed to do 125 hours?
It's up to that,
Okay.
yeah. So it's as many as you can do. I mean, 100 is the goal.
What's the eligibility?
60 plus or a veteran of any age. And then there's income.
I was curious.
I don't know that I have that with me. Last year's income, I think it's gone up a little bit, but last year it was a household of one was 60,000. You have to be below that. Family of two was 79,000. And a family of three was 97,000. But that was last year's numbers. This year's numbers are getting documented right now.
It's $15 an hour.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, so some of the things that I've been working on when I started, we had an interim Parks and Rec director and an interim Council on Aging director. So that was kind of my primary focus when I started. It was getting to know those two departments, what our strengths were, and what we needed for a new director. So we now have a new director of Parks and Recreation and a new director of Council on Aging. So three of us are kind of new within the past year.
So you're recent as well?
Yes,
Oh,
right.
okay.
So half of my team is brand new
Okay.
in their role.
Yeah.
And
You say you started July of
yes,
last year, right?
yeah.
Yeah. What brought you to Natick?
I liked that it was a management position and that I'd get to work with, Parks and Rec, which I love, and just all these other departments, which, I always have, I always enjoyed working with veterans. I used to do like ARM in Shrewsbury I worked at. I helped with the Memorial Day Parade and I did a lot of work with veterans there. So it was a great opportunity to be more involved with veterans and of course, the farm, how can you go wrong with that?
Yeah, I see Brian's got his hand up
Yeah.
online. Brian, ask or comment?
Yeah, I've been working with Keep Natick Beautiful, doing a lot of work on picking up trash, and the town has kind of picked up a new position where they're going to assume that responsibility. And my experience is that the leadership has to start at the top and kind of run the mission to everybody. And Natick has a sustainability director, and we really don't hear that much from them about what they're doing. And I think this concentrated effort by the community to get everybody to pitch in and offer a little more effort of their recycling and trash environmental footprint, and how our facilities in the town, just about every building has a big trash bin in the back, and around that trash bin is a lot of trash that has just kind of, it's the collection point of a lot of flotsam and jetsam that we continually to pick up. And when it's thrown out the back door, it's just kind of ignored, thinking, well, it went towards the dumpster. But the wind comes up and blows all that trash out of the dumpster into the playing fields and into our community, and it eventually makes it to the lake, having such a huge negative impact where the park is closed half their season because of water quality problems. And the town of Natick, I think, has to really take a leadership position and set a good example. And if you go out to like West Hill or Cedar Hill housing projects, you'll find that their garbage bins are busted, the trash is blowing all over, the screens and downspouts are in disarray in the homes. And it's kind of like, wow, here's public spaces that are woefully neglected, and bad example of a good neighbor by the town allowing things to degenerate to this point. And we see it often because we go out there and pick it up and say, wow, look at this, why doesn't the town take better care of its assets or have its people that are charged with this have a more leadership role? So there's my 2 cents in trying to push it out, and hopefully that Natick with its tax override and this funding and these efforts that are coming up to be sustainable and green are brought to the forefront a little more. Here we are in the month of Earth Day, and Earth Day should be every day, and Natick ought to be a leader doing this with a vision of being a stellar good example. So thanks for allowing me to get that out there. And I think the town should kind of take a real strong leadership role in trying to do this, because we've got these people in positions and we need to really kind of get our money's worth out of them. And the community itself needs to get its money's worth out. We ought to press the DCR to do better. We ought to press the DOT to do better, because those pieces have some serious impact, and most of it's negative from my point of view.
Yeah,
So
thanks for that, Brian. I know Judy's got her hand up, but I just want to ask Angela, any response or like intersection with any of your areas that you want to
I know that
comment on?
I actually just last week, LF&R was picking up trash behind the senior center. I was like, wow, that's impressive. So we obviously take trash seriously as well. I actually used to be a I'm not a Keep Massachusetts Beautiful chapter leader in another life. So I'm with you on all of this. I believe in, keeping the parks beautiful and trying to do better, and we're working with DPW and volunteers and trying to pay attention to what's going on and doing the best on the properties that we oversee.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wanted to tag on to what Brian was saying with an acknowledgement that I don't think that it's under Angela's purview, but Brian, the lack of upkeep and the lack of beautification at the public housing in our community is something that is a concern that's growing in my heart. So if you ever want to connect around that, as a person who's trying to position affordable housing favorably in our community, in hopes that we can get more of it, I feel that those properties should be crown jewels in our community so that people look to them and say, wow, affordable housing does not mean disrepair. It does not mean eyesore. It does not mean garbage. I also think that we owe it to the people who find themselves in circumstances of living in those settings, that they deserve more dignity and respect in those settings. So I would love to, maybe take a walk and talk with you, Brian, and include you in future brainstorming with residents as I pull people together around that. And then I just wanted to give a plug. You had so much to cover because Natick is such a rich community. But I wanted to give a shout out to our own Camp Arrowhead here in Natick, which is an adaptive camp program for people from 5 to 100 who have an array of strengths and needs. It is the oldest camp of its kind in the country in that it partners a youth volunteer with every single camper one-to-one. Those partnerships become friendships. Those things are life-changing for our youth, life-changing for our neighbors with disabilities. It's an incredible program. If you ever
Oldest
have
in the country?
Oldest in the country that partners one-to-one.
Wow.
Yes. It has a paid staff, but it also has a volunteer, at least one volunteer for every camper. And they accept folks with significant complicated needs, as well as those who actually live pseudo-independently. So it's an amazing program, and PATH that I'm connected to raises money to subsidize, try to keep costs down for people who are already cost stressed, right? If you have a loved one with disabilities, there's a lot of costs associated with that, and also to keep quality of the programs up. So it's something I'm really proud of our town for, kind of like on the same level of the farm.
And they also do the Skyline program on Saturdays during
all
the
throughout
year,
the
so
What's that program?
it's more of a, it's just one day a week, it's on Saturdays, and you can pick different classes, like you can do a fitness class, pickleball, they're doing arts and crafts, so it's people with disabilities. Again, they have volunteers and it's a great program.
They have lunch every
Yeah.
Saturday, PATH delivers lunch to them from a different place. Also
Fantastic Friday?
No, Fantastic
No.
Fridays.
It's
Saturday, something, they have a
trip
whole program where
program.
they take the vans and they go out on Saturday nights, they go bowling, they go to the movies, they go to the plays at the high school, they something different a couple times a month. Yeah, I should have mentioned that it's not just Arrowhead. Also the residential week up in New Hampshire, which is sort of the Arrowhead group, taking those that are able, 30 campers go up and sleep away for a week. For some families, that is the only respite that they get in caring for a loved one that lives at home. It's a magical time. My daughter's a speech and language pathologist. She still takes off the week and goes with them.
Wow.
Cause it's just.
I think Brindley wanted to jump into this part of the
Oh,
conversation too. Ignore her, Brindley. Go ahead, Brindley. What do you want to say?
Jeez. Yeah, I just wanted to add 2 comments. One is that since you're talking about opportunities, I know that for the Parks and Recs that you've mentioned, and for Wood Trail and for Arrowhead, that it's a great opportunity for kids to volunteer. You can get community service hours for a lot of it. And, a lot of kids do that. And so I think that's also an important part of those programs that I think is really, really great that we have that opportunity, start the volunteerism young. And I'm really glad that the town offers that. And then just a little bit of history. I'm a huge farm fan. I love hearing you talk about the farm. I've been going for a long time, and I can say that my kids were original Forest Gnomes. My son, our oldest son, was in the very first class of the Forest Gnomes, and always happy that that is still going. And it really truly is an amazing program. It's just amazing program. The motto always was no such thing as too cold weather, just bad clothing. And so just always supporting of that. So
Cool. That the requirement for community service for the students, does anybody know, I'm sure somebody knows, how many hours are required for graduation, and has that number ever changed over the years?
I think it's
I don't know the history of how long it's been this number, but it's been 30 service hours for a really long time now. If you just want bare minimum graduation, if you want to be a part of the National Honor Society and some other programs, they request 50 service hours plus 2 leadership positions. But it's actually, for instance, if you do the CIT or the LIT training at Wood Trail, you can get all of those hours in like 1 week, all of your 30 hours in like 1 week. So it's really not that hard. The town actually has a lot of opportunity to get those hours, and you can create your own as well. You don't have to do one of those. You can go speak to your counselor and come up with opportunities for those hours as well.
It's been 30
Is
hours.
that a town imposed requirement?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that the state or anyone else says.
I'm pretty sure it's
I believe it's a town requirement. It's been 30 hours for a long time. It's 30 hours for all our kids going back to graduating as early as 2003. The other thing that I know I did, having 4 kids and not wanting to worry about tracking hours, as Brinley said, you can work at one of these summer programs and get your community service hours all out of the way before you start 9th grade. And our kids, and I'm sure Brinley, I'm sure your kids too, our kids did a lot of other community service, so it wasn't like they never did community service again. But in terms of the administrative piece of keeping track of it, it was such a relief to not have to worry about it, to just say they're done, and all the stuff they do through church and scouts and what the school and whatever else, that's great. And it adds up if they want to do National Honor Society. But, that's it. I found that very helpful that you could do it that way.
I have to
But
tell
the
you,
reason I was asked-
it's definitely a thing. I can tell you, I know many seniors, juniors at the end of their year, and then seniors, oh my gosh, and then trying to figure, because it's not because they haven't volunteered, but because they didn't do something that made it easy for them to track those.
Kids had friends like
get
that,
them
so
to track.
I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, we have such a strong volunteer ethic in this town, I think, and whatever we can do to encourage folks to start as little as, or young as possible. Carrie, you get your hand up. And
Yeah,
Rick,
just two
I guess.
things. I got to jump off in a second, but I want to give a shout out to Jay for promoting the Repair Cafe in the town website. It was a great job. We've been looking to do that for years. It's up there, and probably all of you out there have heard this ad nauseum. Sunday is the Repair Cafe from 2 to 5 at the Senior Center. Listen to this line of things that you can bring to get fixed. Lamps, electronics, and small appliances, laptop computers for IT work, jewelry, bike, mechanical, and small furniture repairs, plus sharpening of non-serrated knives, scissors, and garden tools. And we will also do our best to machine and hand sew different clothing and household textile. You can tell I'm not a sewer. So gather your items. Angela, maybe you have some things in need of repair from your house. So come on down on Sunday. Hope to see you there.
I have the site walk for the South Natick Parks project that Sunday from 1 to 3, but then I'll have time to come over afterwards.
Okay. I know it's
Check it
a
out.
very busy weekend. I've got like 3 things I'm supposed to be involved in, but this one takes priority. So anyway, got to run. Thank you for sharing all that you did.
There's also There's also the EV petting zoo that will be at the community
Yep.
senior center.
Thank you for mentioning
Yes.
that. I was gonna caboose
Yep,
that.
Debbie-
Say,
Debbie
drop down in
Playground's
your
usually-
EV.
Right.
You can charge it there and let other people ooh and ah at it and explain, so.
Since
No,
we're on
obviously,
topic,
Natick 101. Okay.
yeah, since we're on the topic, I think we should just go ahead and say that a lot of this is because of the incredible work of EcoNatick. And today, this weekend is their large event that they work so hard to put together for the Earth Day around Natick. And I just put the link in the chat so that there's all kinds of things happening the whole weekend for that, including on the Commons. So I do hope people participate because it's really fantastic.
Trail cleanups too.
Yeah.
To mention that.
Yes, Keep Natick will be a rail trail cleanup, so there's so
But if
much.
I could,
Yeah, Rick and then Cindy.
yeah, I don't know, this has been really wonderful to hear all of this, some of which I didn't know about at all, so thank you. And I don't want to change the subject, but since you have sort of a deep background in Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
and you're new to this, I wondered if you've had a chance yet to do a sort of deep dive, go back into the planning, strategic planning for it, and think about, one of the questions that's on my mind and has been on my mind for a while is and been on the mind of the schools is the athletic field shortage and the overuse of some of the fields. Cole has 2 fields, both used a
Yeah.
lot. And, needing a lot more care and replacement, as well as the building. There's some major capital things coming along for you. And then there's just the general issue of, are there any is there any land or property here which can be used? There, it is possible for the CPC, which build chairs, to have funding, appeals come from Park and Rec for, at least for grass athletic fields or for conversion of a property into an athletic field. I wondered if that had come across your radar yet and what you think on that. And I can save this if you prefer for one-on-one. I was going to.
Are you coming back to?
I'm coming back,
Yeah.
but I'm planning to, and it's,
Get a
this is
double
actually.
dose of Angela
This
today.
is
Well,
actually
too.
a bigger audience than
Yeah.
101.
Yeah. No, that's-
In terms of live people, in terms of live people, this is it. And so anyway.
I mean,
yeah,
I think
take a minute if you
I've
could.
been handed the list of the list of projects and projections, and I think what we're starting to do is like which ones should get moved closer to the top. Unfortunately, there's a lot of projects that are needed. Trying to come up with the estimates and what we would possibly apply for our community preservation money. There's a lot, and I think any town I've worked in, there's a shortage of athletic fields, so it's just trying to work with the sports groups and make sure we're accurately, scheduling them. We're not just blanket like, yep, we're gonna be there all day Saturday, and really getting to know when people are there, or is there chances for us to rest the fields? Working with LF&R on their maintenance, so that is something we're gonna be tackling a little bit more.
Well, to
coming up.
piggyback on what Brian was saying, one of the issues that Keep Natick Beautiful has really been pushing on is the outsider use of the Cole synthetic turf field that happens on every weekend, and the trash that builds up there partly as a result of that.
It's every day. It's every day.
Every day.
Every day.
I live by there.
Yeah, Brian's been very on top of that as Carrie and Pat Conaway and others
Right.
with DPW. It's been frustrating. It's not been a you guys, but what can happen to prevent the abuse of fields is basically
That's what we're
Yeah.
trying to come up with.
a system
Yeah.
for, anybody like that to reserve it responsibly if that's something that we want to happen.
Right.
Seems like a priority, that's pushing the high school into wanting to spend, a significant amount of money to put got a $2.2 million budget to take a terrible field, it's not even a usable field right now, and try to get it to fit for something.
Is that the JV soccer
That's the
field?
JV
Behind the
field that they
stadium.
want to try
Behind
to
the stadium.
convert into JV football field. It may not be, there may not be enough space there with wetlands on one side and behind and a stream and, you know, the path that goes down to play a regulation sport like soccer is a bigger field.
It's behind the bleachers or it's?
Behind the bleachers.
Okay, I'm talking.
Between the DPW building
Okay.
and the bleachers. And it's really in rough shape. And yeah. And then there's the drainage issues, like the coal field, grass field, there's a real drainage problem.
Right.
So
Sounds like it's on the list.
Yeah.
there's gotta be a master planning process, I guess. I guess that's the only question that we could really talk about here is, might there be an opportunity for, well, I know this happened before I moved here, I think it was 2016.
Yeah.
When John Marshall was still involved, and he's very alert to the issues.
Yes,
And we've
yep,
spoken
we
with
talk
him
about it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that there's certain projects that are coming up, and then the master plan, it's really a guide, so I think you're gonna get some of the same results of, yeah, the fields are overused, but it could help get input from the public again, so that is something, on our list to also get that updated in the future. So,
Yeah, and to get input on the action plan as
Right.
well. I mean, you know, it comes down to town meeting member, it comes to town meeting on a 5-year budget, but a 5-year capital plan, but that's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Because stuff moves around and
Right,
how does it get funded, you know, we just have an
Right.
override, you know, is there gonna be a debt exclusion? Well, originally that was thought of for this JV field, but there's no sign of it right now on materials, so it's, you know, it really needs, that part of it needs town input, and it's, you know, park and recs and school and
Right.
as well.
Yep.
The issue of
Cindy,
there not being enough fields is a long-term issue. I mean, I know 20, 30 years ago when our kids were young, this was an issue. So it's, you know, it is something that's, you know, I don't know what the answer is if we don't have land to put them on, but it is an issue that's been around a long time.
Yeah. Cindy, you had your hand up, but
You said when you came in July that there were 2 interim directors, so your priority was to find, which you've now done.
yes.
So what are the priorities across those 5 departments? That the
Parks.
Parks.
Park projects.
Yeah.
Is
that
obviously,
kind of-
yeah, that's a huge priority,
Okay.
is just trying to,
Yeah.
you know, get accurate prices and, you know, get things accessible, so there's not a lack of projects, for the Parks and Recreation. Community service for the Council on Aging, it's just, trying to have a plan of which programs should we be offering and making sure, there's a wide variety for people, and making sure people are aware of our human service aspect of our department. And also the dementia friendly is kind of one of our priorities, is trying to train staff and other departments on that as well. And then just kind of making our policies and procedures, you know, one side has a policy, make sure it's the same on the other side, and combining policies. We're looking at our reservation
Yeah.
forms.
right.
I just had an idea that, dementia friendly, that would be a training I would love to go to. So I could recognize.
Yeah.
the
Right.
people that I'm around and then be appropriate.
And I think that's, once
you guys get
get
trained
to,
yourself.
yes, once we get the staff trained,
Yeah.
and then that will be part of the process, is opening up to
Thank you.
people in the community, so thank you.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a job placement or job search function out of the community center as well? It starts with a B, the name.
The BRAC Career
That's-
Center?
BRAC Career Center. Is that under your?
No, that's like
purview?
the service council.
Oh, Service
Yeah.
Council. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
I got mixed up on that too.
Yeah.
Has there been any conversation in your department or others around expanding programs that assist households in light of the recent override to people who are perhaps not elderly, don't have a disability, and are not a surviving spouse. Yeah, as a housing advocate, I'm worried for the handful of homeowners in our community who are trying to cling to a house in rough financial times, and we don't yet have something.
You say a handful. Is it more than a handful? I mean,
So, well,
Once you exclude all the, I mean, we
like
do have
cost,
programs.
the cost burden.
Right.
The housing cost burden impacts primarily renters in our community, low-income renters. They're gonna be hit because landlords are gonna pass the tax down. But, yeah, when you try to tease out the number of people who are like housing cost burdened and either have fallen on hard times or are making wages that don't meet the cost, I don't think it's a huge number.
Really?
When you take out the seniors, you take out people with disabilities, when you take out veterans, the people for whom there are already programs, I don't think that there are
It'd be an interesting, survey to find out what percentage of people's income. I mean, obviously, I don't know how accurate it would be, but ballpark 30%, if you have a fair number of people who don't fall into those categories, who are up at 40-50% for their rent or their mortgage plus taxes plus water plus
Right, and with the rising cost of everything right now,
we just got the water
there
sewer
are likely to be
increase.
more people that will fall into that category who find themselves financially strained. I was basing sort of my thinking around this on, I think it's in the 2030 plan, there's some good data around folks in the housing market in Natick, but that is already somewhat outdated.
So we did just put together like a resource list for people that mention all the programs out there, but I think a lot of them are for the seniors. So,
I've been talking to Catherine and, like all that. I just would love to see that be something that is brought up.
Gary, had you wanted to weigh in on this topic or a different?
No, well, this might not apply anyway, but I mean, because usually you have to own, there's reverse mortgages, which aren't quite the same, as bad as they used to be in the past. But usually you have to own your home outright.
Right,
Yeah,
right, and
so
that's not
the-
gonna be likely for a family and a family. Let's say that someone inherited a home that they're living in, right, and finds themselves
Well, they could apply,
strapped
they could apply for that.
right, but a younger person is less likely to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go reverse
Well, no,
mortgage
they're not gonna own a home.
and lose that asset at some point.
This is a concern that's out there in the community. I know with some of the public engagement we did as part of the process for Community Preservation Committee to come up with our community preservation plan. We had a bunch
good to
of
see you guys.
And this exact concern that you're raising, Judy, came up there. There was a lot of concern around what if we don't fall into one of these buckets that you're talking about of seniors or veterans or disabled folks. And, so it's definitely a concern out there that's out in the community.
More need than the ability to meet it, unfortunately.
And what will happen is if those people lose their homes is they'll be bought by developers and knocked down, and there'll be multi-million-dollar homes, which is not your problem.
Right.
Put in their place, and the cycle will continue of unaffordability.
Yeah.
I know our next door neighbor is a single woman working 2 jobs with 2 kids in high school. And, I've seen at least one person, doing a drive-by, sniffing around, looking for the person who is close to foreclosure.
Yeah.
And I don't imagine that's not happening.
There are developers knocking on doors of homes that look like they're maybe just not being completely kept up with.
Yeah.
Thinking that, oh, maybe there's a senior in there who's ready to get some good money for this property.
Yeah.
And that's blocking those more naturally affordable homes from ever hitting the market. So that people who might be at that 500, 600, who thought we'd be saying that that's affordable, right? Price point, they never get to see the property, because it just goes to.
Big problem. But just bringing it back to community services, does anybody else have further questions, comments for Angela? Really appreciate all the time you spent.
Just a quick clarification, I think it was under, I think which group, maybe the Council on Aging.
Yeah.
You mentioned multi-generational programs, and I think you mentioned specifically the lunch where a family member could come in with someone with some level of dementia. Is there anything else that's multi-generational, or do you have ideas there?
We're working on some new ones, so that'll be coming up in our next kind of programs. We're also working with, we have teens that run programs for the seniors, so we have like tech cafes that the high school students come and help seniors with their computer or set up their iPhone or their watch. And then we actually have a partnership that's gonna have we're gonna have a student intern actually at the Council on Aging that's gonna help run some programs. But then we're also planning programs that the families can do together. So those are some of the things we're working on, new ideas. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for the time,
Yeah.
folks, and
Saying that,
Yeah.
so my mom has macular degeneration, and Jerry Garcia is at the Natick Senior Center twice a week. And
Jerry Garcia.
Did I say the wrong name?
Well, I love Grateful Dead. Is there another one? Or- Yeah.
Some other
I missed that.
Yeah.
Can we crop this out?
That's a
End the recording.
Jerry
We don't want everybody mobbing
from the
it.
Massachusetts Association for the Blind and
Yes.
Visually Impaired. And my mother has met with him twice. She brings her iPad and her phone, and it's a free service for people with visual impairment, and he's there twice a week.
Oh, wow.
From 10 to 2.
And what does he do? Set up like supports
Whatever you
on
need.
her tech that will
whatever she
assist her?
needs.
Oh, that's terrific.
And my mom has had experience with the Council on Aging in Weston, and you get, not to diss these people, but younger people don't quite get that anytime you change anything on a computer, especially
Yeah.
if someone's visually impaired, it's like, where's my thing that I always just click right here? And so this guy is much more sensitive to putting it back exactly how it was, if he didn't like that little thing that we tried out, so.
Wow. Well, that's good to know about. Cool.
Will he do it
Great
just for
program.
people who can see it and just can't find it?
That's the tech cafe and with
That's
the high school
yes,
students, they can do
Yeah.
it too.
All right. Well, again, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
for anyone who'd like to continue the discussion further at 12:30,
Yes.
is it at the?
It's at the community center
Yeah.
in the great room. There'll be
Okay.
light snacks.
Yeah.
So.
And your
But
team will
But
be
my
there
team
too.
will be there, so they can
Yeah.
answer specific
Yeah.
questions about their department.
Yeah.
Do
So-
you sit there or do you sit in the town hall?
No, so my office is at the community center.
Okay,
I
cool.
also have a desk at the Cole Center, so
Oh, wow.
I'm primarily at the community center, but I do spend time at the Cole
Okay.
Center. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool. Good. All right.